Alright, so it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, and as you may know, on this channel we do like to do some, themed photo series throughout the year when there is something to, when there's a festivity on, I guess. And as you may or may not know, I do like to go with more of a horror theme for my images. So that's what we're doing today, and as you can see, we're in a bit of the house that we're renovating, so it's at that point where everything's taken down, so it's a bit dirty. And then I thought, now's probably the perfect time to utilize the way the house looks right now, because obviously we're going for that horror look, and this looks scarier than when it will be all done up and looking nice. So I'm going to use it as it looks, but first we've got to clean up a bit and use, just get the studio, that's what we're going to call this, we're going to get the studio to look as we want it. Right, and this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for a pretty clean area. I might need to move that little cardboard thing actually, so I'll do that in a second. But yeah, a pretty clean area around this chair, because this is part of the idea. So the chair is going to be used, and the reason this light is here, again, kind of why we're going to use it. The thing is, I keep saying what we'll be using it for, but there's no point me saying that if you don't know what the idea is. So let's draw it out like we usually do on these photo series. Now I've got my pen, but I didn't bring a board with me, so we'll have to be a bit creative with this. So for this shoot, I wanted to try and incorporate the idea of maybe lockdown, isolation, and somehow put that into this photo shoot, which I think I may have. So our first image will be just our main character, all suited up, but he'll be alone and by himself, and he'll be centered in some way. Now I have no idea how we'll do this, but I'll talk to you about that later on. What you may already know, if you've been with the channel for a while, you may know that when it comes to these celebrations or these festive times, we like to add in a bit of a horror theme. We'll still be doing that today. So to add that horror element, I was thinking, well, we have a dormer window, why not use that? So the idea is there'll be creatures, or maybe not creatures, just there'll be something eerie crawling towards him. It could just be a bunch of hands, which I do think will be kind of easy to do, but there will be some challenges with it, I think, but I'm pretty sure I can get around it. So that will be the idea. And in each picture, we'll be getting closer with the camera, and also the hand will be getting closer to the character. And the very last image will be the actual heart taken out from the character and being exposed in the center of the frame. I feel like that should turn out alright. It sounds like a good idea. Let's go on with it. As you can see, we are using the K&F concept tripod, which we did talk about a couple of videos ago. And if you haven't seen that video yet, you should check it out. There is some pretty cool B-roll in there. Anyway, back to the video. So what you may have noticed is the camera is actually moving this time. Usually for our photo series, we keep the camera in the same place, just so it's almost like we're watching it from one perspective. I was thinking, this might be best if we can have some movement with the camera. Just because I had the idea that it'd be nice to show the setting first, which is the very first shot, but then slowly and slowly we get closer and closer, and it builds the narrative with the character. Now you may be thinking, what am I doing on this chair with my hands? Well, these shots are the ones which are the hands that are coming towards the character. And the reason I'm stood up there is just because any light that's touching or hitting my hand in any areas, it should give me a pretty accurate representation of what the hand would look like if it was actually coming out from the window. Alright, so we're here back at the computer section for this edit. Now, I like the pictures, so we'll see what we can do with them. There may be one or two little things I'll think about, maybe changing, maybe not, but I'll probably get into that when we get to that section of the edit. But let's just start. Alright, first thing first, we're just going to go over the raw image and just change it up a little bit, not too much, because what I want to try and keep is just that dark area in the background and have this kind of this ring of light around our center subject, which is the character, because it just looks really nice to have that spotlight effect which is given off just by a window, which is pretty cool. Now, being as this is the first image that you'll see for this photo series, you want it to look pretty aesthetically pleasing, I guess, because the thing is, you want people to click on it and scroll through it, so you want it to look nice. And there's very simple, easy little things you can do with each individual image, I guess. But for this one, we just want to straighten it out and just make it a little more pleasing to the eye. So all you're going to do is just go up to this ruler at the top of Photoshop and drag it down until you see a blue line. And that blue line is basically telling you this is a straight line. And then you just want to put that somewhere, or on an object or an item which you want to be straight. For us, it's going to be this beam at the back, and we just want to make that straight. So once you've lined up the line, you can just move the picture around until it's straight, or until you're happy with it. Next, as you can see, there are a lot of markings and even our little storyboard that we drew on the ceiling, which we don't want in the image. So you're going to press J, and that should give you your healing brush, which you'll then just go over any marks, scratches, or pen marks, whatever. Just go over them with the brush, and it should get rid of them pretty nicely. You may have to go over them once or twice to make it a little bit more smoother, but you'll get there in the end. And you want to do this with all your images, so just open them all up and just go through them all, and you just get rid of all the dirt and the marks and stuff on the ceiling. Alright, this is the kind of tricky bit, I guess, because the light's so bright outside, you don't know where the edge of the frame is, because obviously you might think it's just where you see the definitive lines, but I mean there is the outside as well, so you want it to look realistic as well. Now the good thing is, as you can see, I'm up near the light, so the lighting should be pretty correct for where my hand will be in this scene. See, if I was taking these pictures now of the hands and I was taking them now here, when the lighting is not like this, it won't look as realistic. And I mean, yeah, there are definitely ways you can go around it and you could try and mimic it, I guess, but it's always best to try and do it when you're there, because this is pretty much what the lighting is going to look like. So it is pretty easy to isolate these. All you need is the mask tool, select whatever you want to keep, which will be the hands. Also, it might be a good idea to keep in some of the window frame just so you can line it up. Then simply right click, then layer by copy or layer by cut. Now if you're not feeling too confident and you think you might mess it up, it might be better to layer by copy this. Now as you can see here, we have quite a few samples to use, which is good. So what we're going to do is we're just going to select one. Here we go, first one. Then we're going to add a mask, make sure the mask is selected, and then simply press the brush button, which is B. Make sure the paintbrush is on black, and then just paint over all the areas that you don't want. Now, as you can see, I am holding a wooden stick. However, that was a good thing, because that was basically my reference for what it would look like if the hands were peering over and holding onto the window frame. So it does give me a pretty accurate look for what I'm going for. As you can see, once you've lined it up well, it should look pretty realistic. Now that is the main technique that you're going to do for the rest of these edits. It's literally, you're getting the hands, you're cutting around them, you're going to obviously paint around the areas that you don't want, have the hands coming out, and just put them in the window basically, and that is pretty much it. Next, we want to make it a little bit more realistic by having the in-between section of that window frame, because obviously you can see the inside of it, which is obviously the inside of the house. You got the outside, which you can't see, which isn't a problem, but you have that middle bit which holds the glass, but you can't see it in this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the single image of just the frame by itself, nothing interrupting it. We're going to take that. Now we're going to apply the exact same technique that we did with the hands with this frame. We're going to keep just the very edge of the frame and then lower the opacity a little bit, just so if it's very faint, because obviously it is like outside, so you won't see the full color of it. There will be some reflection on it. Now, as you can see, what I've done just to make it a little bit more realistic is I've just gone over just under where the arms pop out from the frame with the burn tool and just burnt them a little bit, just to create something that looks a bit like a shadow. Now once you've done all those things, you've got all the hands where you wanted them, you've burnt areas, you've done all your masking and all that kind of stuff, that's pretty much it. Your edit is pretty much done. I have a little bit of an issue with this one bit, the one hand that's holding the heart. A lot of the images, for some reason, they just came out a bit noisy, which sometimes might be a bit of an issue. However, not ready for us, because what we're going to do now, we're going to add a bit of a gradient to it, just to give all the images a nice uniform look. For this one, I was just thinking we'll keep the dark areas dark, but we'll have a red highlight, just because, you know, Valentine's Day. We've got a heart in this picture, which makes it Valentine's Day. That's what I'm gonna say anyway. So yeah, we're gonna add the red. So now I'm thinking actually, because that looks pretty cool just as it is, you know, with how red it is. I mean, it's not my original idea, and I haven't done anything to the layer yet. But I do kind of like it. It looks pretty cool. So I'm debating if I should keep. Actually, no, we won't keep it because that's not the original idea. Although it does look pretty cool. I'm debating, should I keep? Nah. I was debating if I should keep it or not. We won't. We'll finish off the edit how it's supposed to be. So what we're going to do is just go to the layer style. So make it a soft light, and then just turn down a bit of the opacity just to make it a little bit more softer. Now, as you can see, it still has that red filter over it, and it makes it look a little bit more grungy, a little bit more terrifying. But you can still see the fingers and the hands popping out from the frame, which is good. That's what we wanted. Now what we're going to do is just go through all your pictures with that filter, and you're done. That is the first photo series complete. Overall, I mean, I like the edit. It's pretty cool. It's a cool idea as well. And I guess it's got kind of a time to isolation, I guess, if you can stretch it that far, if you want. I don't know. But yeah, that's one photo series done. Now, you know, let's head back to the Ike, and I'll see what else I have to say back there. Alright, so I'm not too sure how that post will turn out, just because, I mean, seeing it on the screen, I mean, it might look alright, but I'm not too sure. So we've got a second idea. Hopefully that'll be as good as well. I'll show you that. And to be honest, this could mean you get two posts of like the Valentine's themed HTTPS, or you might just get one. We'll see. Okay, this idea is really simple, but I do think it will look pretty cool at the end, and even think that I might prefer this one over the first one. So the idea is, it'll be a character. It could be the same one from before, or it could be a different one. But anyway, the character will be turning around, and as he's turning, he will reveal a burning heart that he's offering to the camera, to the audience. Like I said, really simple, but I do think it's going to turn out really well. Now, as you just read, and as I just said, it did say heart on fire, which, I mean, can be pretty dangerous. Obviously, we're going to use this side of the wall, and I'll be doing turning here. So we're doing that, but yeah, the heart on fire thing is a little bit dangerous, but I think there's a way we can go around it and still make it look realistic, but still be a bit safe with it. So let's try it out. Now for the actual shoot, honestly, it was really easy. All I did was just turn around, had the camera set on a timer, and just turned around really slowly. Did it about 3-4 times, just so I can get a variety of different shots. Now when it came to the part when I had to add the flames, I was originally thinking that I would set the actual heart on fire, but then I was thinking that is pretty dangerous. Plus, I've had this heart for a year, and I don't want to destroy it because, you know, I've had it for a year. So I was thinking, what else could I do? I remembered we are in a house that is being renovated, and I remembered that downstairs there was some plasterboard which has been used, and I mean, it's broken now and no one's going to use it. So I decided to rip the paper off of that and burn that instead. And the good thing about that was I could get a variety of different flame shots. I could get long flames, I can get wide ones. Basically, I really wanted a huge amount of shots, just so I could pick and choose which ones I liked, which ones I could maybe use for some shots but not in others. And basically I'd have more options to how I'd want to design this flaming heart. Okay, so this next one, we're literally just taking the techniques we just used for the first one and bringing them here. So let's get started. Now, here's the first picture. Now obviously we just want just a little bit where the paper is just beginning to burn and the burn bit. So again, we're just going to use the select tool, select the bit that we want, put in position where we want it and where we're thinking about having it, just so we can, you know, have a bit of a reference, and then just remove any area that we don't want, which is the background and even some of the paper. Remember, we just want the burnt area and a bit of that orange area. And also we're just going to move it around and put it in the right orientation, the right position. So now it's good that we have the pictures where we're lighting the fire. It's good that we have them in focus. However, as you can see from that image, the background on where we want the fire to be isn't in focus, so it looks out of place. So we're going to apply a simple effect to this, which should blur out the fire picture and also just make it blend in to its background. So you want to come up to filters, then blur, then Gaussian blur, and then if you just drag this a bit closer so we can see it, and then all you're going to do is just drag the scale until you're happy with how blurred out it is. And obviously if you're not happy with, if it's not blurry enough or it's too blurry, you can obviously go back to filters, go to blur, back to Gaussian blur, and just re-edit it a little bit and just get it to where you want it. So now it's just about blending it into the picture and just making sure it looks like it fits there. Now instead of taking through every single bit of editing where I'm going to put fire somewhere, take some out, because with this one it was a bit, it took a bit of time because I wanted to work out where the fire looked the best, because obviously there are parts where it's swerving off and stuff, so it took a while. But here are the end edits of these. You know, I think they look pretty good, look pretty nice. And as you can see, I feel like the levels of blurriness where it goes from really blurry to the focus picture right at the end, I feel like the flames do fit in pretty well. So now this edit is almost done. There's just one little thing that you need to add to this. Now, as you did see, we did take the flame pictures and the heart pictures separately because obviously safety and all that. But obviously, what is fire? It is a light, and that will reflect some of its color on objects surrounding it. And as you can see on the fingers, you can't see any color of orange from the flames. So we're going to fix that now. So what you want to do is go down and add a new layer. Then go up and pick a color which you feel is suitable for a fire color. Obviously you're going to pick orange, but you want to pick the right shade. I'm just going to go right at the top, really simple. Then to make sure that the orange color that you pick blends in with what you're painting on, go down to the layer style and pick soft light. See, next all you're going to do is just paint on the areas where you feel the flames light would hit it, and then obviously you want to be really careful and you don't do too much and you don't do too little. Again, you're looking for that realistic middle, so just give it a try and obviously be really careful when you're doing this. Alright, and those are the edits. Now this one I like a lot more. It's a bit more simpler, however I feel like the effect is a lot cooler, and I know it's a bit more closed in, it's a bit more personal, and you know, it's still, I'm going to say it's still it's very Valentine-esque, obviously because it's a heart and stuff, and I don't know, a heartbreak and stuff like that. I don't know, stuff to do with Valentine. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to say it's Valentine. Let's head back to the attic with previous me. Alright, thanks for watching the video, and you know, I hope you do like the post. Like I said, you might get two, you might just get the one. We'll see after I've edited them. Well, technically, by the time you've seen this video, I would have edited them by now. But yeah, we'll see if I'll upload them both. But thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Now before we even start, I mean, this chair has been here for, before we even bought the house, so that's how old it is. But also, don't know if you can tell, but it's very dusty, so, you know, I feel I'm putting a lot on the line for this video, but it should be worth it.